That is the biggest, in my view, biggest challenge in the industry in Kenya. Post isn't given much attention. But in saying that, the reason I am here at DocuBox is because it's changing. I know I was there before DocuBox was. I know how much they've done. And to grow together into the industry, we have to all start collaborating like this. My name is Franki. My name is Franki Ashiruka. Editor, CEO, founder, post-production house, Africa Post Office. Yeah, that's it. The film bag. Hey. Film started for me after I was in college, after like 2 years into the 3-year college at Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. That's when it hit me, oh, I'm here doing. Because before that, you know, after high school, you're hanging around not knowing what to do with your life. And then you look at the newspaper and they're calling for entrants. We are looking for these people to come to Kenya Institute of Mass Communication for these courses. And there was all of them, all the departments that we know of. And I chose editing. And then they called us for an interview. And there were 6,000 entries for just editing. That was 1991. Out of the 6,000 entries for editing, they were looking for 7 for Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. And then halfway into it is when I discovered this is cool. This is really nice. So I could say 2 years into the editing college, editing training, the diploma course, is when I discovered this is for me. Growth. I'm lucky. No, I'm not lucky. How I got to where I am is because of extremely hard work. Every chance I got, like we all do, I didn't waste it. So I'm finished college, and legally, before you graduate, we were supposed to have an attachment period and then go back graduate. So that period, I got into KTN and edited this show, which nobody wanted to do, a talk show. It was really boring now that I look back. Boring show. We just talk, cut, end, finish, submit. But UN loved it because it was about kids. Because they loved it, they gave it an award for best, whatever it was, for the subject matter. Not for the editing, obviously, because it was just cut. But then my name came up to Chris Fraser at Media Network. Chris was a film director who was the first guy who had a digital editing machine. You know, now they're everywhere, but his was the first one, and it wasn't even Avid, which is weird. So the Cube, I think it was called, from Israel. So I went there and he said, I need you to learn this because my job is to go out and film. Right now, I'm doing all of this. So this is you. And he left me in the deep end. And because I take things seriously, of course I did. It nearly killed me because now how do you edit with a computer? Previously, I was tape to tape and then film editing. But I learned, and Chris was very happy. And then he showed me, do this. When you cut like this, cut like that, you know. I did have the background. I had 3 years of edit. So before I got employed by them, I went to college, graduated, came back to Media Network, and started to edit. As I'm editing at Media Network, some other Muzungu guy, sorry, is looking for an editor. Richard Vaughan from Inca was the bomb at the time. In the late 90s, he was the documentary king in Nairobi. This is how I met Judy, actually, Kibinge, on a Richard Vaughan's project. And he said, I'd like you to come and edit for me this thing. By then, Chris has already been telling people there is this girl. She can edit. Try her. So Richard gave Media Network a documentary project and they gave it to me to do. And then he taught me and then I learned it. And that was it. I didn't live there. They started a post house called Ramjamas there at Film Studios. And I stayed there with Avid. And in that, Richard Vaughan came. Chris was still coming. Everybody was coming to bring their work there.